stuff. All right. All right, so I'm gonna come up with a topic and see if I can't destroy myself or destroy someone else in this game. All right. All right. Here we go. We're gonna go down and... Alright, yeah. We're gonna check it out. And I'm gonna try to come up with a topic as well, so... Most of the time when I was younger, I realized I had a certain knack for things. Realized I had a certain want for stimulation most of the time. And when I was trying to get to know myself, basically, and to get to know exactly what I wanted to do with my life, I basically just got into art because I had a feeling my dad wasn't going to be there for a long time, and because my dad gets tired of stuff, so really easily. Uh, let's see. Wait. I'm gonna get this one now, and I get rid of these right here, and. Got him. Okay. Alright, let's check this out. Get this first aid. Get this backpack. We're gonna get this thing. Get this 9mm Molotov cocktail and laser sight. And is that a scorpion? That's gotta be a scorpion. I thought. Are you serious? I want to get the freaking. All right. 9mm, 7.62, and painkillers, and that's good. So most of the time, when I was trying to find out about inspiration and things about awesome, great, automatic. Oh, should have stayed on automatic. Oh, shouldn't have dropped that gun and dropped that other gun at the same time. But it's just how things go, you know? Just how the cookie decides to become sentient and tries to eat you instead of you eating the cookie. All right. So most of the time, I've come into inspiration or anything like that. I've tried to get to know like the ideas that inspire me as I go through a certain capacity or form of something. I realized that those ideas that I had once before weren't my ideas, but literally just like copies of stuff. So I have to like revamp my entire want. Like if I like my entire idea to be able to make a character it has to be something completely original if I want to actually make a character. I came up with an original, a kind of an original thing. I was based it off of Spawn's cape, basically, and I called it Hollow. And most of the time I think that, or Vessel, basically. I tried to make something basically that was good for try to make a character that was actually like more defined than it actually is, more like if like the enchantment becomes its consciousness basically, and the consciousness makes it snarky or whatever it is or something like that. Basically it's still an enchantment kind of thing, but but it feeds on souls, like feeds on like certain things and stuff like that, like certain that's what I kind of made, I guess, with my character. I kind of just tried to I don't know, just make something really cool, I guess, and then got him. Gotta get some first aid really quickly. Oh, there we go. There's another dude. Got the first aid in here. Alright. Alright, there we go. Alright, I need the helmet. Get the helmet, and I'm gonna get out of here. Let's get this backpack and this vest. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, most of the time when I get inspired, I realize that I wasn't creating a character on what I actually wanted, but more so of a character that I saw. And once I based that character on something, and it would go in a completely different direction than what I wanted it to. When I got in that direction, or when I got in that that certain action, I'd be like, wow, oh my god, they're creating my characters, oh my god, they should pay me. No, they don't have to. Because most of the time, people don't realize that that they're actually creating their characters based on what they see on TV. And TV is a very big influence in what people actually do create. And that's kind of the reason why they called it the thought box back in the day, because it kind of insinuates that like all the ideas are connected and all that other different stuff, when in actuality it's a bunch of different businesses that have certain agreements. People don't realize that. So people don't realize that at all. So dang it. There's a bunch of different businesses that have certain agreements to keep those ideas going, or to keep those ideas alive. And this is kind of what the reason why I think that the presidents have been able to make peace so far and make people believe all this is just like, it's just a ruse, guys. It's Russia and everybody's crazy. And it has a lot to do with people who were affected by being what's the word, okay, I gotta leave match. Oh, that's cool. They got a better menu. That's awesome. But most of the time they didn't realize that it was more over like every country, I think, in the entire world usually protects a certain group of people, and this certain group of people, they're not like extraordinary or anything like that. There's just, these are all basically agreements that every country came up with beforehand before they started diplomacy, and this is how they're able to kind of control and keep the markets going, basically. But they don't know that eventually that becomes their weakness. They don't know that that eventually becomes their weakness because of people wanting to keep the markets the same. What you wind up doing is you wind up thwarting the next generation of kids or the next generation of people. And the more you kind of thwart that soul idea within a newborn or a child that wants to create something, that's coming into the world that wants to create something good, you're telling it that a bunch of bad things that it's going to expect to happen. But understandably so, once you kind of get into those things, the more negative reinforcement that actually happens, sometimes the more negative consequences that actually happen because of someone actually not realizing what they're doing. And or even it's the same with positive reinforcement too, because positive reinforcement can make your kids think that your parents are weak and subtle and or not weak and malleable or whatchamacallit, basically manipulatable, basically. And that's why all those different things come in through, and there's a bunch of different people that are from I guess like certain counseling groups and stuff like that, that work with DHS and a bunch of different counselors that work with a bunch of different people, and they're able to go through these things. And if you actually go to their meetings and stuff like that, if you actually go to those places and learn different new counseling techniques, you can understand your child better. Because a lot of parents that thought they had it all figured out and everything like that didn't realize that they're not just supposed to keep their child happy. They're supposed to keep their child happy and working for more. Because most of the time, and that's where I think a lot of people don't realize that when kids are fighting each other, you have to step in the middle. when kids are literally at each other's throats, you have to step in the middle and do something that they wouldn't expect most of the time. And what speaks to young children is sometimes violence, because they are very violent. Kids get very, very like emotionally distraught sometimes because of certain things that they believe that they've been through, because of the amounts of time they've actually spent, experiencing what their mother has to offer. Like through certain instances, people don't realize that they experience the emotion that every mother feels, or that every mother sees, because she's powerless to be able to create the life, because it's certainly and naturally a reflex. But as to the situation and understanding that that every child is powerless to their mother's emotions, they don't realize that that's the reason why a lot of kids get very, very attached to their moms. They suck their thumbs, or they do something that's like very out of the norm. Like, I really like this one character on this show that my mom used to watch, something like that, just to be able to seem that they're closer to their mom emotionally. It's like everyone has an attachment, sort of what's an attachment, what is it called, attachment syndrome. Basically, it's more like a syndrome, because it can turn into a mental disorder, and people don't really realize that. They don't understand that whole situation with inspiration and how the forms of which it brings you to. And these are all probably ideas that my dad and my mom had most of the time, as far as everything went, as far as behavior. And then they realized that they weren't the first people to actually do anything about it, and then they realized that they were kind of being not controlled, but manipulated by outside forces most of the time. And when they believe they were being manipulated from outside forces, they usually don't give up, but they just kind of recess, I think, most of the time. And people don't get that sometimes. They get the fact that that recession or degradation, it means more inspiration and more things like that. Like my dad believes in democracy, and my dad is pretty much a Democrat, and my mom believes in conservatism, because she's afraid of a lot of different things. She's afraid of different things affecting certain things, and people affecting certain people, and because of my mom's mom, a lot of times people didn't get the certain notions of how quick those things could change, how unbelievably insecure sometimes people were, and didn't realize how little people actually did care about some people when they were independent, and they didn't realize that their emotions were getting the better of them sometimes. Like I think my mom's mom used to mess with my mom, and I don't know but like most of the time, I think it was exercises to make her stronger, most of the time, and to make her more I don't know, I don't get it sometimes, but that's what I really didn't get most of the time, is my parents' they always kind of like went through exercises with my parents, and that's, I think, why my mom and dad were actually even attracted to each other in the slightest most of the time, is because my parents liked each other, and then they all wanted to hang out and drink tea together, I guess. And I'm Irish, so I didn't drink tea. They probably drink beer. Or they probably spike the T a little bit. So most of the time I think that people don't realize where all those different kinds of reflexes come from. And those are mostly as in nature as it is in it is wild. Most of the time people don't realize that they're getting certain things and certain nutrients from trees that are trees or plants that are not diseased per se, but that overwrite or not overwrite, but try to reawaken brain cells that have already been awoken, and that's where the memory overwrite comes from, and then certain burnouts and certain overexertion sometimes is key in trying to, when you're overwriting a memory. And this is kind of the techniques that everyone used to be able to there's a dude right here. There you go. Come on, don't move. Come on. There we go. Damn it. All right. So that's really what I tend to think that is really going on most of the time with people's reflexes, and the reasons why it happens to take that stuff. They don't really understand where getting purified minerals or vitamins actually does. And what it does is it stops your brain from moving so fast and turning your memories into reflexes. That's the reason why a lot of people don't realize that an energy drink or a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or anything like that every once in a while could cause, and really cause you to act a little bit more like yourself and stop from having it stops probably epilepsy in the long run, because you're able to process colors a lot faster, and a lot of different things that people don't realize. You're able to process information a lot faster, and your mind moves fast, so you're able to keep up with the beat of a certain rhythmic tone, and that's why I prefer overwork. It's a really cool and awesome thing to me. It is actually really good for I guess for me. Most of the time, I mean, I really like the beats and the rhythmic percussion that goes from different sound effects and stuff like that, because a lot of times what what they'll do is what a lot of different artists will do nowadays is they'll try to find new beats and they'll try to find new things, and when they hear something along like the certain like in a certain environment or a certain place, you'll hear the sounds of different things that they were around them whenever they made that certain thing. So that's kind of the coolest thing that I think is cool. I think it's cool because it can put people at ease, and for people who wish to do something harmful, I guess it probably puts them on edge, probably. Yeah. So it's just it's kind of pretty cool, I guess. But for the most part, it kind of eases my stress and it makes me feel better, and also relaxation. A lot of really smooth tones and really cool like smooth tones and certain vibrative percussions kind of help me, I guess, and a lot of different kinds of baritone as well, because I'm pretty baritone when it comes to stuff like that. I'm not a tenor most of the time. I think that a lot of times my voice only cracks and stuff like that because I have got him. Yes. Ah, nice. He was behind me. Awesome. Oh. Most of the time, whenever I'm trying to alleviate pressure and stuff like that, I try to, since I've sitting still for so long, or sit still at all, I try to do that whole stretchy thing. Like I'm like trying to crack those like little double jointedness of my arms and legs and things like that, arms and fingers and arms and toes and arms and legs and toes and everywhere else, basically stretching my shoulders most of the time so I don't hunch, and even if I do hunch, then I don't hunch for long. So that's the reason why I like office chairs, because nice. The dude that killed me also got killed. So that's the reason why I think that a lot of people don't really take into consideration how much actually goes into creating and developing all these games. They think that it has something to do with like just competition all the time and stuff like that. And it's like, no, those dudes they do that to talk to each other most of the time, just to be able to like to talk to one another, so they can like send each other emails back and forth, and then they just like they all shit talk, I guess, when they're playing video games, but then they just kind of like, it's not really a big deal or a thing. They kind of like went off in their own direction with Grandma's Boy, and decided to make a bunch of different things that they thought were really hilarious, and then I don't think that actually made much sense when it came down to the actual video game. And I think that video game would be amazing. A demon sent forth to bring back. That would be amazing. That would be awesome video game. I'd just be awesome video game, I think. But I mean, I'm sure they'd have to make it safe for consumption, and they'd have to make it into different transformations. So at first it would become a sprite, like a fire sprite or something like that, and then it would become a sage sort of thing like that, and then it would become eventually turn into a full-fledged demon, basically, and then probably maybe a team or two, and then Final Fantasy 19. So, most of the time, people don't get uh where all those things come from. They don't get where most inspiration actually does come from, as far as that goes. So yeah, basically people don't realize that most of that inspiration actually comes from outside, going outside and doing different things, and like it comes from certain things that we promote on the outside. It's like there's always billboards, there's always different stuff to look at, there's a bunch of logos to be able to make sure that people can know what the businesses are, and then we get all of our ideas and we get them all together, and then mostly people don't realize that those ideas pretty much have copyrights on them. I have an idea for a character, and his name is Eric Campbell. or Eric, A-E-R-I-K, Eric, Eric Campbell, and but I'll probably name him something different, because Campbell's Soup might have a problem with it, or they might try to promote their products. Either way, I don't want to completely and utterly just have Campbell's Soup on it. But even though their chunky soups are absolutely delicious. Most of the time, I think that where that inspiration comes from, and where those things actually get to, whenever people are trying to make themselves better, and like not to say that in trying to make themselves or anything like that, or anyone's like building themselves up from the ground up as far as emotionally goes. That is what I'm talking about, basically, and that's the reason why I think that most people don't get where I'm actually coming from. It's like building yourself emotionally is like picking every single piece of your life up and saying, everything that I just did in my entire life is meaningless. Saying that all of the stuff that you possibly could have ever done, all of the things that you possibly could have ever waited for, are completely and utterly meaningless, and everything around you is the way that it is because of someone else. And that's what you have to admit to yourself every single time you go out there and do mental things and take mental notes and stuff like that. That's what you have to do. You have to do. People don't realize that. They don't realize it at all. They have to really, really check themselves before they literally give themselves horrible reflexes, and that's where people kind of lose themselves and don't realize that they're playing a video game, and that this stuff is never going to become real most of the time. And if it does, then it'll be like a paintball thing or something like that. It'll be freaking awesome paintball. But most of the time, most of the time, people don't get the whole situation when it comes down to stuff. The more I look past a certain situation, the more I realize that that certain situation didn't look past me. You know, it didn't see the things that I planned for. The people around didn't understand what I was getting at, or how I was trying to get to things, or how I was trying to be the certain person that I need to be in order to be able to get myself to the place where I want to be. And that's where I think people don't really realize is they've been in the same place for a very long time, and their bodies are sick of it, and they need to understand that they need to go sometimes, or they need to go somewhere else, because that's where all this stuff happens. If you get the same immunization, sometimes what it does is it layers a certain thing on top into those things, and that can actually cause cancer. Too much of the cure can cause literal, like, bad things to happen, and people don't understand that. They don't understand because they don't realize that they're not the same person that they were when they got the first shot. They got the first shot, and then they realized that they had to get the second shot, but they didn't get the second shot. For some reason, they didn't get the second shot, and they thought that it would completely keep them going. and they didn't realize that certain people are like really good at like keeping themselves in a certain diet, and that's the reason why they're able to do the things that they can do. They're able to go the places they can go because, I mean, they go to sleep and sometimes they completely relax themselves, like Zen sleep, REM sleep. You can hear everything around you, but it's like you're coming in complete and utter just healing sleep, basically. And that's kind of where that whole Superman thing came from, I guess. REM sleep and pressurized exhales, a bunch of different stuff. They use science to be able to create things that they thought were fantastic and amazing, and not realizing that most of that stuff is just like regular people. Like, damn it! I wanted to do something cool. That's the point about this game, okay? It's not about completely and utterly winning. It's about doing something absolutely amazing, and then give bragging rights. It's awesome. It's really great. That's what it's about, okay? It's about doing something completely cool and awesome, and then bragging rights. That's what it's about. That's what this game is about. Drop in 100 people, and if you win, you're like, I'm better than 100 people, even though you know that's not true, but you can still say that because that's bragging rights. Oh. You know that's not true because you didn't kill all those 100 people. And if you did, then you were cheating. And you should have known that. You really should have known that. That's what cheating is. Everyone's supposed to be on the same level when this game is playing. No one's supposed to be hacking the satellites playing, I'm gonna beat them all, yeah! And those are usually developers actually fixing a bug or something like that. Most of the time they are. Sometimes they're cheaters who just got onto the thing because they got the free Amazon gift card that's from the hell or something. That they got when they decided to go. Or the free PlayStation gift card from Heck. The free PlayStation gift card from the one they got out of the volcano. All right. Here we go. We're going here. Okay. Gonna have less weapons, but it's probably something like a scope or something. That'd be good. Oh, this is bullshit. Okay, I got a freaking vest. Got him. Oh. That's kind of where I'm at right now, as far as things go. Just trying not to overexert myself, basically, so... And every single time I have to relax my joints and stuff like that because my dad was pretty much a driver. And are you serious? Oh, but you know what happens? People care and people are dumb. And people don't know that people are planned around. So they'll never get it. Because they really think that somehow they just don't believe it. And if they're not going to believe it, then they can go climb a tree and experience it for themselves. Have a good day and be yourself. Have a wonderful time, and you are your own one-person bomb squad. You can defuse situations that you think are going to go completely south, but if they aren't, realize this, that you didn't have to be in the situation sometimes. And sometimes you can actually make the situation worse. You shouldn't try to escalate people's feelings just to get them to create something or to get them to do something. You shouldn't try to get them out of something just to be able to get them into something else. You should try to be yourself. And that's it most of the time. That's just it. So realize that, and also don't try to turn it into something that it's not. You know. Don't try whatever's out there, whatever is in a quantum state right now. And a quantum state. Don't try to use anything. Don't try to do anything, because it can not only spell disaster for you, but it'll just be you. You know, like remember that. So be yourself and understand that people don't really get me or the things that I do, or the people that I try to protect, or the lives that I literally have. I like things. I like stuff. And I say things that just makes no sense to some people. But understand that if you mess with a pro gamer, you get pro gamer problems, and then things get a lot spookier, a lot more ingenious, and a lot more complicated, because they're going to realize that I am very good at things, even though I'm not paying for the season 2 or overview or anything like that. I'm still very good at things. Title awards. Title awards are earned as titles are achieved. Rewards will disappear if unclaimed before the next season. I had to claim all these. Alright. Season rewards. Alright, let me go check the store and see how many I have saved up so far. Because I haven't done anything as far as G-Coin. Let me see how many my items I have. Hold on, did I claim those season rewards? Featured, season pass, 1,000 G-Coins. It's like, I'm gonna go to back, I need to go to, I have all these cards. Did I claim my title rewards yet? I acquired all of these. Except for... I got experienced 4. Nice. Got, let's see, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them. So, awesome. Let's go to career. My kill ratio is 0.47. It's not bad. It's like Call of Duty. Hopefully, I'm gonna again bring it back up. And average OMG 67%. Average rank is 64.85. I'm gonna bring that up to a C next time. And my season high was 2,223. That's why I don't play on computer though, because I'm actually working on my reflexes. Why? You ask? You ask why? Because this stuff helps you work on computers. What? Doing this and all these things, different things like that, pressing down on these triggers and everything like that, help you play piano and work on computers and do different stuff, and helps me type faster. Computers help you work on computers, but they don't have any resistance when you're pressing the buttons. So also the reason why is because building up your reflexes for this actually helps you. It helps you with your reflexes when you're doing different things. Like, see what I can do right here? Like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do any of that. Like, when I was like any of that at all. I couldn't do any of that stuff most of the time because it builds up your reflexes. Play video games. Old people play video games. Tell me it's terrible for you, and then keep on playing video games because they know it is fun. They were just trying to kick off all the hardcore gamers, weren't they? Yeah, they were. Alright. Have a good day, and you are your own one-person bomb squad. One more time. You can defuse situations that you think are happening, but if you don't think they're happening, if you know they're happening, tell someone who can figure out the situation, and then they'll figure it out, and then you can relax. Have a good day, and be yourself, because being someone else is always second best. And you come up with whatever excuse it is that's like, oh, first was the worst because he blah 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 blah. Because I know first is the dude who did it and did it well. Second is the dude who followed the smell. What? Third is the dude who saw it all happen, then fixed the first guys, then the second guys, then he fixed himself. The dude who doesn't go in the competition at all is usually the one that the chick is marrying. And that's why first is usually the worst, second is usually the best, and third is the nerd with the polka dot dress. I am not the nerd in the polka dot dress. I'm the nerd sitting watching all these competitions and being like, wow, this is like super being like promoted by so many businesses that it's just, it needs to be. It really needs to be. These video games they need sponsors. They need sponsors. People need sponsors. Have a good day. And also catch those cheaters because they'll use it. Remember,